Okay, so Tyler has thrown this one out here, and this is very much it feels like a remake of Girlfriends. And I have to say, there's no way to remake Girlfriends. So me and this show, we're gonna have to work. We're gonna have to work with. We have to work with it. But I'm in. I'm in. We're just gonna work with it and see what we come up with. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Tyler Perry's new show, Sistas, and this is season 1, episode 1. As I said, I feel like it is a stab at redoing Girlfriends, which I don't think is possible. Um, I I lean to Tyler for his dramatics more so than his comedy. Girlfriends relied heavily on the comedy part of it. There was dramatics. There was a lot of drama with Girlfriends, but it relied heavily on the comedic part of it. Tyler's comedy, though it is very good, it is a different type of comedy than what you have on Girlfriends and Sex in the City and those shows that I absolutely love. It's a different type of comedy that I don't get from Tyler. Tyler's comedy is more African American family based and rooted in the church. And for me, that doesn't work with this dynamic that we're trying to do here. This show also gives me a reach at soul food. Now, that part of it, if you go that direction, I probably could rock with you because soul food, though there was some comedic moments, it was completely a drama. It was a drama. Um, Now going that route, I could see it working. So I don't know. We just got to jump in, and I just got to give it a chance and just kind of roll with it. So we got 4 girls, and they're not actually sisters. Okay, like Soul Food, they were actually sisters. These girls are not sisters; they are friends. Okay, so you have Andy, who is a lawyer. You have Sabrina. I'm not quite sure what it is that she does. You have Danny, who works at the airport. Um, Danny literally basically has a job, not a career. And you have Karen. No, Sabrina works for the bank. Sabrina is a manager at the bank. Karen is the one. I'm not sure what it is she actually does. She is the one with the boyfriend. Karen actually has a boyfriend. Danny, I'm not so sure what she has. I don't think she has much of anything. I don't like her. I don't like Danny. Danny rubbed me wrong. Like I just couldn't. No, she's not my kind of girl. Even when her character is in the scene, I find myself like this. She's a lot, but that's the way her character's written. She's supposed to be very abrasive and a bit ghetto, and she just it doesn't make sense. The job that she actually has at the airport, her personality would never work for. The stuff that we saw her doing, she's living in Tyler Perry land. I ain't feeling that. He gonna have to do something with that character anyway. So we start off. We have a really nice looking guy named Gary. He's married to someone else, but he's screwing Andy. Okay, so Andy, it's her birthday. Andy is sad. She's a sad individual. She has it all going on, except for she has low self-esteem. For real, for real. You know, when you look at her, she doesn't portray that. But yeah, she got low self-esteem. Because if you didn't have low self-esteem, you wouldn't be playing second fiddle and being the extra to a married man who is telling you lies and has been for months about how he's going to leave his wife, and he's coming over and screwing you in the morning on the way to the gym. You have low self-esteem, sis. I don't care what you do as a career and how much money you make. You don't think much of yourself. But they met at a grocery store. And I just watched, like I said, he's over there screwing her. He literally jumped out of her bed, out of her couch, into his clothes, no bath, no nothing. I was like, did you all notice that? I know I noticed it. I was like, yuck. And the wife is always calling. I'm like, I don't know. I could, me personally, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I am a very selfish lover. Very selfish. I don't share at all on purpose. Not at all. There's nothing in me that would allow me to play that role. Um, Too much of the other woman and too many promises. I don't, I could never. I could never. My personality just would not allow it. It would not allow it. And as a matter of fact, where she's so into him, the antics would probably make me hate him. Is probably what would happen. It would work the complete opposite. I would probably wouldn't be able to stand him. But yeah, so that's what we found out about Andy. And then she's actually lying to the girlfriends. Only one knows that he is actually married, and that's Karen. Karen, on the other hand, is in a relationship with Zach, who is a relationship that has spanned for several years, is what it looks like, and he just keeps cheating and keeps lying. Another situation that I couldn't be in. I've been in one of those situations where it went on for a long period of time, and when you look back at it, you give yourself, what kind of fool am I? A damn fool. That you even allowed yourself to be in the situation that long. And that's why I said I'm speaking from experience. Being in that type of situation, when you get down, you're like so in love with this person. But by the time you get through with it, you literally hate that person. And I went through that. I worked through it where I don't hate him now. But there was a period of time where I literally hated him. It was the complete opposite of what it was when it was good and new and fresh. I went through a period where I literally didn't speak to this person for 6 years. I would not say a word. Like when I seen him, I would literally cross the street. Don't talk to me. Get away from me. And it went on like that for 6 years. I was very vicious with it. So yeah, I couldn't be in Miss Karen's situation either, to the point where we found out he's even given her an STD with his spinning and cheating and carrying on. Anyway, so all of this came out in this first episode, but like I said, we see Danny is on this phone and she calls Karen first. And she has it's either a husband or a boyfriend that stays with her. Her situation is all messed up because she is literally watching another woman's social media. She doesn't trust what's going on with her situation, and she's watching the social media because she feels like something is going on. but she's fussing to Karen about it as opposed to fussing to him. And she's going after this other woman. I told you she's a whole piece of work. Okay. Um, she gets off the phone with Karen, and then they kept telling her, we're not gonna say anything to Andy about her birthday because she doesn't celebrate her birthday, and we're not gonna talk about it, and definitely don't bring up the engagement because she had been wishing and hoping for an engagement ring is what she's been telling them, knowing all along ain't gonna be no engagement ring because he's already married. Anyway, so they kept reiterating this to this Danny. Don't mention it. It's like, okay. So Danny ends up calling Sabrina. Like I said, she's the manager down at the bank. They're talking. She reiterates to her, don't mention the birthday, don't mention the engagement. So I said, okay, so everybody know that you're a whole mess. And this is why everybody individually is having to simmer you down. So anyway, Sabrina gets off the phone with Danny. She goes to her counter, to do some work at the bank. She has this gay coworker who is just, at the time, I said, whoa, he is so delusional. Like, completely delusional. There's a little guy that comes in the bank. He's been coming in for like 6 weeks. And he's been kind of cracking at Sabrina. And he got his gumption up and he actually asked her out. Well, the little gay guy is like, girl, he's like into me, Miss Thing. I don't even know why you're even bothering. And I'm like, you are completely delusional. Like, he ain't paying you no mind. He literally curbed the hell out of you. He didn't want to come in your line. He's so busy trying to follow her around the bank. So I was like, okay. So he was starting to irritate me real bad. I was like, delusional. Delusional and extra. Bye, girl. So that's going on. And she accepts the date. She says, well, I'm going to be at so and so and so a place. You come through about 9:30. And that's smart, you know what I mean? Because you don't know him. And meet at a public place. Check. And you're going to be with some friends. Check. And you're not even going out of your way to actually do it because you're already going to be there. Check. So that works. Um, Karen is actually at a doctor's office. Karen's 36 years old. So all of them are like under the 40 mark, but they're all right there, 36, 38, like in there. And nobody has any kids. Nobody has any kids. And Karen is very touchy. She's 36 years old and she's a little touchy. Um, and I figured out later on why. Like, because her doctor is a female doctor. She was trying to make small talk while she's doing an exam on her. And I was like, why is she so touchy with her doctor? I mean, because when you choose a doctor, especially like a gynecologist or your main primary doctor, you want to have a rapport with them where you can actually have this small talk. You know what I mean? Because if there's anybody you need to be having small talk with, it's your doctor. So I was saying, this is so weird. But then after I found out later on that she actually had an STD in the past, and she was there actually being checked for another one. Because she said, oh yeah, your results, they're negative. And I didn't realize this until later on. I thought maybe she had just had an HIV test taken because she was so nervous about it. I said maybe she had had an HIV test taken, and this was what she was, why she was kind of short. But no, 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 no. This was like she was checking for an STD, and thank goodness she didn't have another one. So that's what that was about. I said, okay, cool. So then we're gonna flip on over. We go to Andy's job. She goes, sharp. She's sharp. I said she had these bad shoes on. I said, come on through, Miss Andy. She rolls in. She's a female partner. Um, I didn't see any other melanated girls there. So she's really one of her kind there. and she's dealing with a case, and her boss was basically telling her, do you have this? Do you need me to come in and help you? Because, I took a real chance getting you here, this, and the other. And she's like, hey, she was as cool as a cucumber, okay? She's like, I got this. And I was like, okay, so we're watching her. She's working on a divorce, and they're supposed to be going to court. And the people had come in, the male and his lawyer had come in, and they were trying to work a settlement. They came in and they offered $4 million. And Andy was like, no. We came in, the request was 25 million. I don't know where you got the 4 million, but no, we have court in an hour, so we'll just see you in court. So we're not going to settle for the 4 million. And so they walk out of the room, and the woman, the lady suing for divorce, she says, "Oh my God, I would have taken the 4 million. Are you sure about this?" She says, "Oh no, baby, I'm very sure. Do you even know what he's been up to?" She done got all the tea, and went and found out about some funds he been hiding and different things that he wouldn't even want to come out in court. And they ended up, she said, do you see the body language between them? They were, it's all glass. So him and his lawyer out there fidgeting around. She says, do you see the body language? She says, they're contemplating what we were talking about. She said, here they come, they're coming back. So they came back in, and they ended up settling for 20 million and the house. She said, he said, we'll settle for 20. And she said, that's fine, but I want the house too. So they ended up getting 20 million and the house, period. So this is how she gets down. She's good at what she does, is what that was giving us. And I was like, okay, cool. No problem. I guess she's supposed to be our Terry. You remember Terry from Soul Food. Said, okay, whatever. Cool. So there's a scene where Danny works at the airport just like Zach. Zach works at the airport as well. Zach is Karen's old man. Danny rolled up on Zach at the airport. Now she's supposed to be working at, where you first come in and you check your bags. She done came from behind that counter. I said, Tyler, when have you ever seen any of those women or men come from behind that counter and be starting to do some clowning? You will be out of the airport lickety split. They don't even play with them like that. So it was so not believable. And it was so just ghetto and trashy. And she's like doing too much, and she's cussing Zach out all about Karen and all this. She's all in the midst of their stuff. And it just further perpetuated the fakeness of the show. And it further perpetuated how much I'm not going to like Danny. She was just out of order and ridiculous. I was like, okay, just keep sitting here, James. All right. So let's go. So they go, we see Karen leaving home. She told Zach, by the time I get back here, I want you gone. And I want all your things gone. Okay? So that's that. She goes and they going out for drinks. So they're out. Andy comes in, and she basically lets them know that she's going to break everything off with Gary. And they're like, wait a minute. We ain't even met him. So, like, what is all that about? She's just trying to, like, deflect it all, and she's, saying she's just leaving him, and she's not, y'all not going to meet him. It's over. It is what it is. Of course, Danny immediately, she had brought up the ring before she even started talking. When she walked up, she brought up the ring. She brought up the birthday, all of it. Everything everybody wanted. Girl, she got on my nerves. She was just doing the most. Like I said, she'd been lying to them about him. And so she was trying to just dismiss it all, really. Um, Shortly thereafter, the guy from the bank shows up. And Danny just literally blurts out to him, and do you like that? Question his sexuality and everything, but she's so abrasive. She's just so ridiculous. And he's like, no, and all of this kind of carrying on. So that was a mess. Sabrina ends up going off, and talking with him in the bar. Andy and Karen end up talking. And they're kind of going back and forth, and Karen is actually dropping some real stuff on her. She's like, I don't even know how you've been in this relationship this long, because you and I, of all people, know exactly what it is to be cheated on. We know how that feels, and to think you're actually doing this to another woman. And I can't keep upholding you as a friend like you're doing right. You're not doing right. It's wrong. And she's like, well, he says that this, that, and the other, and all this. Shortly thereafter, she pops up. They're sitting there rather, and Gary comes in unexpected. So they ended up getting to meet him. They come running back to the table, and of course, Danny's doing too much, as she does, and they basically was able to deflect it. And Andy's like, I'm getting up out of here. I'm gonna run and get him up out of here. And it was right after he walked in, right after Karen and Andy had this conversation of, I'm definitely throwing him out this time. I'm not going back. And she's saying, I'm leaving it alone. Well, Gary walked in, and that just went left. She ended up walking on out, leaving with him. Sure enough, goes home. They have a little Rendez vase, honey, and right, he even get her essence off his bottom lip. Okay, that's what they were doing. She didn't get the essence. Wasn't off his bottom lip. The wife then called him. I gotta leave. But I thought you were staying tonight. Well, now my son has a fever. Right back in the vicious circle, right back on the hamster wheel. Over at Karen's house, she gets home, and Karen don't like Danny. She don't like Danny like I don't like Danny. Um, Danny presents herself as a bum. She never has money and that kind of thing. They're like, girl, we can go do this, that, and the other. She's like, girl, I'm not doing anything with you. I'm leaving. I'm done. Because everybody had dispersed. We actually had Sabrina went on off with her guy that she was going to be on a date. Andy now has left with Gary, and that left Sabrina and Danny. And Sabrina was like, I don't even think so. So yeah, she ends up going home. She runs into Zach. He's still at the house. He comes back. He comes in. And she's like, why is your stuff not gone? He's like, well, you had the locks changed. She's like, yeah, my brother changed them right after I left. But he ends up sweet talking her and telling her how terribly sorry he is, and he don't know why he does these things, and the whole ran the bull crap lines on her. And she ends up saying, okay, fine. He was at one point, he's on the couch, she's in the bed. He can hear the buzzing because she's in there giving herself a little service. He goes in there and is like, why are you using that? Why are you using that? And then he gets her. So she's both of them, Karen and Andy, are back in the hamster wheel. So all of that goes on. That's that. Let's talk about Sabrina and her date. Now, like I said, he's presenting this case to her. How much he likes her. But I'm sorry, he comes across a little suspect. flat out. Originally, I thought that the coworker was delusional. He is delusional, but he not too far off, I swear. Because I'm sitting there and I'm watching, and I don't know if this is what was supposed to happen, but it's not about how he dresses. Because she was going through like, "You're so neat," and this, that, thing, and the other, and he's like, "Yeah, but I like you," and he debunks everything she's saying. But I'm sitting there and I'm saying, why is my gaydar going off? The whole time my gaydar was just going off. I don't know why. I don't know if this is just me being shady or if it's something that's going to be written into the script. For some reason, my gaydar was going off, and I'm like, maybe that damn bank tellers not so far off. Whatever. I'm gonna keep on watching. So that's basically what went on with their date. He ended up talking a good game and debunking everything like that, and everything was fine. Let's go. Let's flip to the next day. Andy goes to work. Of course, this is everybody's congratulations. This is like she has really turned it out in the office. Everybody's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then she meets a new client. And the woman told her, she says, I have a girlfriend who's going to be coming in. She wants a divorce as well. And I just felt it in the pit of my stomach. But she comes in and she talks to the woman, and the woman is wanting a divorce, the black woman, and she tells her, my husband's name is Gary. I said, oh Lord, and it's her Gary, and she's asking her, well, do you have proof that he's cheating on you or whatever? And the lady's like looking at her, and she hasn't said anything, but I'm like, okay, so now we're on to something. So this is where we ended, but that did pique my interest and make me want to continue watching to see what's going on. And that alone is the only thing that held me here for this show. Is that piece alone. Because everything else I saw up to then, I don't have to see anymore. I don't know if I'm being too hard on this show, but I'm just being honest. This piece with the lawsuit and Gary is what's holding me. Everything else I saw, I don't really need to see anymore. So, Sistas, down to the BET with Tyler Perry. This was season 1, episode 1. I'm in. I'm watching. We're going to see how it works out. All right, you guys. Catch you later.